Yo, Uamu up in here, bringing up mind games. Sheepy up in here talking about how you just fuck with your opponent and make them think things are a lot worse than they are. That is my girl right there. That is a real Yu-Gi-Oh player. Wait, she's 11. Oh shit, forget the my girl part. Anyways, so Yu-Gi-Oh Go Rush this week. Was I the one who felt like they crammed a lot of shit in 24 minutes? Like, it's weird because in the grand scheme of things, only one or two major things really happen, but we go in a lot of different directions with this episode to the point where when it ended, I'm like, have I been sitting here for 45 minutes? And you know what? I actually liked all of it. I really enjoyed where we went and how we've kind of changed tones and have started actually integrating the show's story beats as opposed to just the random bullshit we've been getting for like 10 episodes. But let's start right at the beginning because the opening actually ties into things. Because I like the fact that Udius got hurt from being flung into a wall. I like that the idea that a hologram of a fictional card came to life and hurt people and there are consequences for it is actually a big deal. Even the more serious Yu-Gi-Ohs don't always do a great job of addressing this, but this one kind of has. It's actually a little nuts when you think about it. So yeah, the episode opens, Udius is in bed, like bandaged up, injured, and then we get, it's not even a joke, it really is just setting up the episode. He goes to listen to his Rush Duel CD he listens to, and it turns out the girl voiced by Mimi is just there and in the episode. And then cut to opening credits. That's not a dumb waste of time joke, that's just setting the episode up really quickly. But yeah, no, so then the credits play, and then we skip ahead to I'm going to assume a few days later. I'd like to believe it's a few. Actually, it did kind of sound like it was a few days later. It's not important. But so anyways, so we skip to when Udius is feeling better, and all our characters are together, and they watch the news report on TV about everything that's happened, and again, consequences for actions. Like the crazy sheep girl broke the building. That is something you want to show, and that's a thing that then plays into things later in a way that actually flows pretty organically, at least for this kind of thing. But yeah, no. So then they're just sitting there talking, and something I've noticed, and I feel like I've been noticing it more and more with each coming episode, but just didn't really talk about it, was that there's a very apparent 1950s style aesthetic to this show that is kind of weird considering we're supposed to be, what, like 80 years in the future at this point, but I kind of dig because they've gone through making it look kind of fitting. Like, the television is very 1950s, the wall designs in their living room is 50s, even the building designs kind of harken back to a much more simpler anime style. And not necessarily what Yu-Gi-Oh! Usually does, though that one can have very simplistic designs, because remember, nowadays, most televisions in anime are just big black rectangles. So the fact that they went and designed this thing this way feels just very intentional. And I can't tell if this will play into things later, or if it's just a homage to the era when the concept of UFOs and aliens and the Flatwoods Monster and all this stuff kind of came from. But, I mean, it's a choice, and I'd rather that than just a boring, generic-looking show like, you know, Brains. But then, so yeah, they're just sitting there, and then a rival dude, whose name I still haven't remembered, shows up, and fuck! The next scene is really damn good. I really just like the idea of all our characters in a room, and there's no jokes, there's no humor, it's just letting the plot play out and the seriousness of the situation as everyone comes to terms and has to understand what's going on here. This was it, Zuija, I guess how you pronounce it. This guy has done something really dangerous, and like things are escalating, and everyone is responding in kind. This dude can't just be like friendly investigator guy now like he's been up till now. It's like, this is fucking serious. Like, people have now been hurt. Like, shit's been damaged, and it's about to go down. And just watching as everyone kind of flows into this very nicely. I think is actually a pretty nice showing of where we're going with this show. But yeah, no, and so then Udius just sort of says what's going to happen to him, and he's like, oh, he'll probably put in a cryostasis forever, essentially killing him. And I like Udius's reaction. Like, there's not a lot going on with Udius, but I think they're actually very clever with that. He's not the kind of person who's necessarily going to go super emotional or super crazy yet. He is, like I said in the other episode that was really good with him, it has been taught to be a soldier, be more mature, and so therefore he wants to then go into action, and the humor from therefore comes from the fact that he wants to move to action but doesn't really know how to do it. So then we move to a very enjoyably funny set of scenes, and that is the girl voiced by Mimi has decided to train Udius to help him get better at rush duels for the incoming fight. And it's funny. It's very simple, and like you can make the argument, oh, we did this already, and it like a stupid training thing that goes wrong, but there's so many of them, and there's such clever use of even just simplistic stuff, and they're funny, and again, I still have no idea why we need to have so much goddamn fucking tutorial in this show, but I did really enjoy the way they brought up the concept of learning the phases of a turn and what you do with them, and they were funny, like they were creative, they were different. It wasn't just one dumb joke that goes on for 10 minutes. It was a lot of just funny, goofy things with funny characters who are getting more likable the more they get to do. Then what happened? Oh yeah, so then we skip to everyone's back in the living room where it turned out this was all bullshit. I mean, it was, and it helped Udius learn. Also, Udius's actor really got to show some flex there with like being able to be funny and serious as opposed to being in the background. Really liking how everything's coming to shape with this show. But so yeah, then while they're in there, the, again, old style video recorder player thing shows a duel between Yuamu and Yuhi, where Yuamu, like I said at the beginning of the video, psyched Yuhi out by checking her grave, seeing if there's card effects. That's a thing Yu-Gi-Oh players do in real life. I know a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players who basically spend half the duel with their hand over their grave, making it look like there's something they're ready to do. Or we've all seen the classic, how many summons is that? Do I have Nib? Bitch, find out if I have Nib! And yeah, just stuff like that is a part of Yu-Gi-Oh, though I think it's funny. This comes after everyone after they actually had to rule that you cannot have a token on the board if you're not playing a token enabling card, so you don't mind game your opponent into thinking you play Nib or Sword Soul. Yeah, that's a thing. MST TV is a video, and if you want to learn more, watch his video. But anyways, so then they try to figure out where Zuijo is. So they go to Chupacabra Kid's apartment, where naturally it's all themed after the sheep chick. And there they piece together that this whole thing has been about setting it up that he can go on top of the TV station tower and make a big news report, and destroying the TV tower or damaging it was all part of it. I guess it would just make it easier for him to get where he needs to go. And so that's where they then decide to head next. Also, I thought it would be really distracting having Roa's voice actor play the weird assistant guy, but he's funny enough, and, you know, I like that actor, so getting him back is nice. Then you also have rival guy runs into Kappa dude who's on top of a building in a little kiddie pool, watering himself, which, I don't know, I just thought that was kind of a funny image. And I really like the way that next scene plays out. The idea of him kind of being there, just being like, we aliens have seen so much more than your Earthlings, and I'm ready to see the next big thing. I don't know, it's such a simple, like, done it a million times, but maybe it's the way the actor plays it, like, not necessarily sounding sinister, but not sounding really, like, positive either. It's just a really, like, cool build-up scene. And so then our heroes get to the top of the building, no one stops them, where they find that the Flatwoods monster is there, and shit's just about to go down. And it's kind of cool. We haven't had this kind of serious, straightforward build-up and have it feel effective in a long time in this franchise. And I actually really dug it, and I'm really excited to see what happens next. This is kind of cool, and there's some interesting ideas at play, and I want to see what happens to Udius is he has to confront someone so important to him in a negative way. So yeah, I'm super excited. Are you excited? Tell me that in the comments section below. And as for the TCG question of the week, the next Legendary Duelist set is out. Or will be out in a couple days. And I hate it! Why the fuck was my boy Ryoga replaced with Mako Tsunami? What the fuck? I know they rely on DM for making all the money too much, but does anyone who was gonna buy this really care if Mako's on the cover? Who the fuck cares? You're only here for the droplet reprint, and don't tell me that, like, some random, like, 20-year-old's gonna walk through Target and be like, oh, Mako fucking Tsunami, I'm gonna buy a pack of him! Fuck that shit. I'm not buying anything in this set. I don't care about any of the archetypes in it, and I already have my playset of droplets. Don't ask me what I paid. But, yeah, I'm not dealing with this shit. But in the comment section below, tell me, are you excited for this Legendary Duelist? Wait, I kind of want the Ghost Rare C101. Fuck me. But yeah, no, tell me, are you excited about this set? Do you want to try out any of these archetypes? Give me your thoughts on that below. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next week to see a duel between teacher and student.